The Heart of Cthulhu is a tabletop card game themed around Cthulhu and the mythos of the sea. Captains set sail on a voyage to discover new worlds. 2 to 8 players take turns pillaging and using items to fight perils of the sea. The first captain to discover and claim 3 new worlds wins the game. Piracy, alliances, betrayals, and sabotage are all part of this deadly adventure that awaits. In this video, we'll cover game overview, decks, game setup, gameplay and examples, facing Cthulhu, and other rules and terms. This game is for 2 to 8 players, takes 60 to 90 minutes, and is for ages 12 and up. The Heart of Cthulhu consists of 3 decks of cards: the Discovery deck, Pillage deck, and the Peril deck. It comes with 8 ship cards, 80 integrity chips, and 30 wood chips for crew. The Discovery deck is full of essential items players can gain to help them on their journey. More importantly, this deck contains new worlds. Claim 3 new worlds to win. 2 Discovery cards are placed face up next to the Discovery deck. A minimum of 2 cards are always face up. Draw from the Pillage deck at the start of each turn. Most Pillage cards are kept in your hand and out of view from other players. Pillage cards contain helpful items that allow healing, sabotage, and shoring to earn integrity, which is required to attempt a Discovery card. The Peril deck contains basic perils, sea creatures, curses, and very rare beings, which are helpful. Perils must be faced and defeated to claim items in new worlds. Additional rewards often come with victory. I will go into more detail about what's in each deck later in the video. The Discovery, Pillage, and Peril decks are shuffled and placed in separate stacks, with the Pillage deck in the middle. 2 Discovery cards are revealed and placed face up next to the Discovery deck. Shuffle the ship cards and deal 1 to each captain face down. Captains then reveal their vessels. Take notice of the vessel's unique strengths. Each captain starts the game with 3 integrity chips, 3 wood chips to track crew, and 3 Pillage cards. Roll to see who goes first. At the start of your turn, revive all of your essential items and your ship card by shifting them down in line with your other items. I will cover essential items in more detail later in the video. Revive your crew. This means that your allowable crew resets. If you have a passive item card that says to do something at the beginning of your turn, do it now. Pillage 1. Draw from the top card of the Pillage deck. Simple Pillage items. These cards are kept in your hand and help gain resources, fight perils, and can change the game more drastically in ways of sabotage. A captain can play 2 Pillage cards per round, and they can be played outside of their turn. Passive items. These items have a triangle in the top corner. These are helpful cards that act as essential items, but they are always in play. They do not require activation or revival. These are laid down with your essential items when drawn, and are only applied to the player who controls them. A max of 6 passive and essential items combined is allowed. For the purpose of this video, we've skipped ahead to show what it would look like farther into the game when captains have had time to collect more resources. On your turn, captains may do the following in any order. Play a Pillage card. You may play a second Pillage card during your turn, or save it in order to play in response to another player during their turn. Only 2 Pillage cards can be played per round unless an item allows you to play more, so be strategic. Note, you do not need to play a Pillage card on your turn. You can simply draw and then say your turn is over. Remember, you can only play 2 Pillage cards any time per round, not just during your turn. You may pay 8 integrity to try and claim a Discovery card. Activate any essential items, and use ship strength once per round by activating your ship card. If you perish while facing perils, which means you've lost all crew, your turn ends. You'll see Davy Jones' locker. We will cover Davy Jones later in the video. When you have taken all the actions you want to take, you may end your turn. Discard down to 8 Pillage cards. You cannot end your turn with more than 8 Pillage cards. The captain to the left is next. Before we go into some examples, we are going to cover the decks in more detail. There are always 2 Discovery cards face up next to the Discovery deck, and players can choose to claim either of them. Players also may take a risk and reveal a third card from the deck. Captains should be prepared to face the perils when discovering. Each skull on the card represents a peril that must be faced to claim the card. As noted earlier, there are two kinds of cards in the Discovery deck: Essential Items and New Worlds. Essential items are placed in a row in front of you, allowing other players to see your items. Each of these cards may be activated once per round. Players can activate essential items even during other players' turns. Items are revived at the start of the controlling captain's turn or by playing a card that allows this. The same rules apply to ship cards. New worlds look like this and are the real treasures you are after. Collect 3 and win the game. A player can claim a discovery card by paying 8 integrity. A player may pay 8 integrity to attempt to claim a discovery card, whether it's one of the two face up, or the player wants to risk the unknown by flipping over a new card from the deck. If a player reveals a new card from the deck, they must try and claim it. They do not have the choice between the 3. Players then face the perils attached to the card to actually claim it. If all perils are survived, the player claims the discovery. Reveal a new discovery card if there is only one left face up. If a player pays integrity but fails to claim it, captains may try to claim the card without paying integrity during their turn, but this still must face the perils attached to it. If it's not claimed by the time the original player who paid for it has another turn, it replaces the oldest one of the two cards currently face up, and now 8 integrity is required to attempt to claim it. Note, if a captain reaches 6 combined items and gains a 7th, they can choose to replace an item and put the extra item face down. This extra item can be used to escape one peril anytime and is then discarded. At no time for any reason can a retired item be put back into play. Captains draw from the Pillage deck at least once at the beginning of each turn. The Pillage deck contains regular Pillage cards, which are kept in your hand, and passive items that have a triangle symbol. These are placed in front of you and are always in play. Once a Pillage card is played, discard it in front of the Pillage deck. When a captain chooses to reveal a discovery card, or try and gain one of the current cards face up, they must reveal the perils attached to it. Perils are revealed and fought one at a time. You must defeat all indicated perils to claim a discovery card unless you have a sneaky way to avoid a peril or two. Let's go over what's in the peril deck. Basic perils. These are one-time actions taken against the captain who revealed the card. These can be discarded once the required action takes place. Curses. These perils are in play until you escape the curse by 1. Perishing and paying Davy Jones, 2. Throwing an essential item overboard. This can be done by any player for any curse in play. Keep curses with your essential items unless noted otherwise. Sea creatures and other perils. These must be fought by the captain who encounters them. If defeated, sea creatures yield gifts and are then put at the bottom of the peril deck. If you are defeated, the perils you face are discarded, and the next captain has the chance to face the same number of perils required and claim your discovery card. Very rare beings. These are special creatures hidden in the peril deck that help rather than hinder a captain on their voyage. Place these cards along with essential items in front of you. These cards may be played once at a time of your choosing, then discarded. When captains encounter monsters that they must face, take note of the health, dice roll needed to deal damage, and the damage that it deals if you roll below that dice number. Attacking captains face perils by rolling the dice. If the number is equal to or greater than the number indicated by the dice symbol, and no other captain sabotages the roll by playing a card to change the outcome, then damage is dealt to the peril. If the number rolled is less than the number indicated by the dice symbol, then damage is dealt to the captain, equal to the card's damage number. The attacking captain continues rolling their d6 until either the peril is killed or the captain's crew perishes. Use the second d6 to help keep track of the damage done to a peril. When a peril is defeated, the captain has earned the reward indicated by the star symbol on the card. All perils that were revealed during a turn are discarded, except for curses that have not been lifted. Note, crew as a reward. Some perils say revive 1 crew. This means that you can revive crew if you lost any during the battle. This does not mean you can revive crew above your allowable crew. Discovery cards as rewards. When collecting a discovery card as a reward, draw from the top of the deck. Players do not have to face perils unless the card is a new world. Lethal damage is dealt when a captain's crew perishes, and is reduced to 0 in an attack. In that moment, the discovery card is unclaimed and the captain's turn ends. When a captain's crew is reduced to 0, they must barter for the life of their crew and visit Davy Jones' locker. Crew will be restored for the price of 1 essential or passive item, 1 pillage card from your hand, and 2 integrity. Captains who can't afford the price must pay what they can, and crew will be restored. After an attack, perils faced by a captain are put below the peril deck. Unclaimed discovery cards go face up next to the discovery deck. The next captain can choose to take the unclaimed discovery card without paying integrity, as explained in the rulebook, by revealing perils and facing them in a new attack. This can continue for a complete round. If Cthulhu awakens, the captain who revealed the card abandons the attempt at claiming the discovery card, and all captains form an alliance to defeat Cthulhu. Before attacking begins, note that Cthulhu has a base of 3 health and deals 2 damage. On top of this, Cthulhu gains +1 health per player and deals +1 damage for every new world that has been claimed. Captains attack Cthulhu one at a time, starting with the player who revealed him. Each captain rolls the d6 as many times as they feel they can afford or die trying. If a captain perishes while attacking, but Cthulhu is ultimately defeated, the player still receives the reward and does not lose a new world. However, captains that perish while attacking Cthulhu must visit Davy Jones' locker and pay the price for perishing. Any item may be used while attacking Cthulhu unless specified otherwise. If Cthulhu is defeated, all captains revive their crew. Each captain may also make 1 essential item a mast. A mast cannot be stolen or thrown overboard. Place masts next to ship cards to keep track. If all captains perish and Cthulhu survives, each player loses 1 new world in addition to what Davy Jones requires. If a player does not have a new world, he only pays the price of perishing when visiting Davy Jones' locker. All decks are shuffled and the game continues. If the player who revealed Cthulhu did not perish fighting him and Cthulhu is ultimately defeated, then their turn picks up where they left off. If they perished fighting Cthulhu, the game picks up with the next player. Cthulhu does not count as a peril faced if a player was in the middle of trying to claim a discovery card. Now we're going to run through some examples of typical gameplay, and for the purpose of this video, I'm showing what it would look like a little bit farther into the game, where you have more items, you have some integrity built up, and you have more pillage cards. So the first thing you would do at the beginning of your turn is revive all of your items that you used in the round by pulling them back down. Next thing you do is you draw a pillage card. Now what you can do is you can play a pillage card, you can pay integrity to try to gain one of these or this card, or you can simply say that your turn is over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this card, which allows me to pillage 2 more. So I'll play that. I'll pillage 2 more cards. And now I think I'm going to try and go for one of these discovery cards. So I'll pay the 8 integrity, and I'm going to go for this new world. So this new world requires that I face 3 perils. So what I'll do is I'll face the first peril, and it's just a 1 hit. And it says, all players roll, 2 highest players lose to integrity. So all the players would roll at the table, and the 2 highest people would lose to integrity. So that's 1 peril down. Second peril, pirates. So this is a peril that I have to face. It has 4 health. It requires a dice roll of 4 more, and it deals 1 damage. So what I'll do is I'll roll, and I rolled 6. So I actually have a couple cards here. I have this card that allows me +1 or +2 to any dice roll, +1 to any dice roll when attacking. And then this is a passive item, which means I deal +1 damage at all times. And this one gives me +1 to any dice roll at all times. So since this is in play, I'm going to actually deal 2 damage. So this has 4 health, and now it is down to 2. So I'll go ahead and roll again. I have 5, which means that I dealt 2 damage again, so that one's dead. Now here's where it says revive 1 crew. Now I didn't actually lose any crew, so I can't revive any, But if I had lost any crew, if I had taken damage, for example, and I was down to 1, this reward would allow me to revive one of my crew back up. So I'll go ahead and face the 3rd damage, and it's actually, a 3rd peril, and it's actually a rare being, which used to gain a discovery card and avoid facing its perils. So this just goes over here with my other cards, and that's all 3 perils. So I gain this card, and a new discovery card is then revealed. So that covers the basics of how to play the Heart of Cthulhu. You can see below this video there is a link to the expanded rulebook. There is a link to the frequently asked questions and explanations of different situations, and also